finally over to Andrew Miller, and he's going to tell us why goals are bad. Interesting. Over to you, Andrew.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Jill. And if someone could spotlight me so I'm up on everybody's screen, if you've not, if that doesn't happen, pin me or make sure you got one on speaker mode. I'll be using some slides, but it won't be a share screen, so you're going to make sure I'm up there. And yeah, so what I want to talk about is goals. We're all very familiar with goals. It's rammed down our throat most of the time. If you want your business to be successful, set a goal. If you want to lose weight, set a goal. It's the mantra of all things in terms of coaching, self-help, business, and everything. We heard all about it. But the trouble is there are some shadows. There's some dark side of goals that don't always get noticed. And I just want you to be aware of some of these things and maybe some alternatives. And I'm going to illustrate things by way of an example. Warning, warning. I'm going to use a sporting example. Oh no. I mean, it's a great example, so tough. If you're not into sport, if it's not your sport, if it's not your team, do your best to let that go and go with the learning that's beneath it, because it's very useful. And what I'm going to talk about the England Rugby Union team. You may know nothing about it. That's absolutely fine. But back in 1999, England hosted the Rugby World Cup. And England had been okayish, but they were at home, so they expected to do reasonably well. And they did terrible. They got knocked out of the qualifying rounds. The brand new coach, Clive Woodward, nearly lost his job. And he managed to grip onto it by having a really good discussion with the board of directors and basically he set a goal. Very clear. It says England to win the Rugby Union World Cup in 2003, which was the next one. Very clear, very precise. In visual terms, if you want to know what that looks like, England had to do this. If that's performance and that's time, they are going to go from somewhere about here to here in 4 years' time. That's what they're trying to do. It's very clear. Up, bum, bum. Now, that's a nice, clear goal as to what they're trying to do. People know about goals, don't they? What do we know about goals? They need to be smart. Of course, they need to be smart. Well, was it specific? Yeah, it's pretty damn specific as to what they're going to do. Are they going to measure it? It's going on damn television. They can see what's going to happen. Of course, it can be measured. Is it, well, what does A stand for? It can be achievable, it can be agreed, it can be action orientated, all these things, because no one can agree what smart actually means. All these, they apply. Is it realistic or relevant? Yeah, absolutely. Is it time bound? We've got an exact date, no problem at all. 22nd of November 2003. They knew when the final was when they set it. All very clear. So what happened? He'd set the goal. Obviously, this is a straight line. It wasn't really a straight line. It wiggled up a little bit, but he set a goal with the intention of winning at the World Cup. 22nd of November 2003. Anybody know what happened? We won. Playing Australia, the world champions in Australia, in extra time, in the dying seconds. Johnny Wilson drop goal between the posts. We win by 3 points. Everybody's happy. OBEs all round. So, Andrew, goal set, goal achieved. What's the damn problem? The problem, ladies and gentlemen, is what happened afterwards. Because afterwards they went like that. In 2003, they won pretty much every game they played. In 2004, they lost their immediate game straight away, and they won about half the games that year. In fact, they never really recovered. Only about now in 2022, we got a team that's getting somewhere near. But you know, we made the final last time. But bottom line, it didn't last. And there's lots of reasons that people come with this sort of quite specific example, but this shape is incredibly common when it comes to goals. Now, it happens a lot in sport. England football, 1966. Have they ever hit that again? No. Every time somebody does score a goal, that's the time they're most likely to get scored against. Let's move away from sport. Dieting. Ever seen that sort of image when it comes to hit your target, put the weight back on again? We've even got a phrase for it, yo-yo dieting. It's an established concept. Google the Oscars and look up Oscar curse and see how many people have got the best actor award, best actress award, and then never done anything ever since. keeps cropping up. Sales targets, people hit their sales, they drop off. Even people who just on a general business sense, you're coming up to the weekend or you come out to a holiday, you put all the effort in, you get everything you need to do. What happens as soon as you go on holiday? You collapse. Yeah, you're ill, whatever it might be. Or even bigger than that, whole life, anybody in employment, work all your life as much as you can, and then you retire. Happens every time. This is incredibly common. You see, goals are very much about the short term. Now, what happens is that somebody sets a goal, they achieve it, and then you get the person that helped them with it set the testimonial, and they get the testimonial, and everyone says, "It's amazing, I've set my goals," and nobody challenges it beyond that. Why do they not challenge beyond that? Because when we were about 3 or 4, we were taught 6 words that made sure we never looked any further. Do you know what those words were? They all lived happily ever after. We've learned, we've been imprinted that, okay, we've hit it, we've achieved the target, that's it, job done, move over and relax. Whereas in reality, things move on and shift. Now, obviously, the next thing, as most people say, well, okay, that's fine, you always set another goal and another goal and another goal, but the point is the same pattern keeps happening. And what you're having is a period of intense activity to hit a goal, followed by burnout. And when you keep setting another goal, you're just going to get drained. You're going to get absolutely knackered. It's like Red Bull. It's great in terms of a short-term boost, but in terms of long-term benefit, you're just going to be drained. Thanks, Frank. Especially, you're not going to be drinking that all the time, though, are you? You know, it's got to be a time where you have a break on the Red Bull. Now, that's just in basic. Let's have a quick show of hands. Has anybody themselves, or do they know anybody that hit their goal, reached the thing they've been looking for, got there and went, wasn't quite as exciting as I thought it was? Or it is exciting for a bit and then the excitement fades not long afterwards. So the excitement of getting there is like, whatever. I mean, I remember when I took my driving test, I failed it the first time. Perhaps at the second time, the pain of failing was much, much bigger than the actual success of winning, of passing that test, even though it's been, fundamental. So it doesn't really get us anything. And that's when we hit the goal. What if we miss? If we miss the goal, then we're suddenly beating ourselves up and like, oh God, I set the goal and I didn't do it. Which throws up an interesting question of what is success. So here's an interesting thing about goals. Where on the graph is the point where we are successful? Here. Now, let's just think about it. We're humans. And whilst we logically know everything's a grey area, we do like things black and white. So our natural instinct to say, all right, we wake up on a Monday morning. Have I met my goal? No, I haven't. So if I've not succeeded, I must have failed. So Tuesday morning, I failed. Wednesday morning, I failed. January, I failed. February, fail, until I succeed, if indeed I do. So what we end up with is a permanent period of stress. Goals are stress-based motivators. Set a deadline, make sure you fix it, tell the world, I'm going to do it or else. And what actually happens is we wake up every single day feeling like we're a failure because we haven't succeeded in our goal. If you do get there, the benefits and the excitement are short-lived, probably going to deteriorate perhaps to where it was before. And if you miss it, you feel even worse. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a thing we're all being taught to do every time in terms of our business, in terms of our health. Something that doesn't actually make us feel good, gets a short-term result, but not any long-term benefit. So why should anybody set a goal? Good luck. Oh, go on. You want to know something else? You want to know an alternative, don't you? Okay. How else can we look at this in a different way so that we're actually going to make our best out of what we do? Well, for me, one of the best quotes is that a goal is not a place to get to, but a place to come from. See, one of the problems that we have that can easily happen when we set a goal is our attachment to the outcome. Now, there'll be plenty of people here that will be very familiar with the concept of when I get there, then I will be happy. And very often that's what happens is we connect our emotional state with the outcome based on the goal. And if we don't achieve it, if we're not achieving it, then we're not in a great place. Whereas the absolute reverse is what we need to be. So let me give you another analogy. Yeah, sport again, but let's see where we go. Maybe a bit of chat time if you want to type away here. If you know who Muhammad Ali is, what epithet would you say is attached to the boxer Muhammad Ali? What's he known as? If you don't know him, he was a boxer. The greatest, the greatest, the greatest, greatest. He's the greatest. Everybody knows Muhammad Ali is the greatest. Now, if you look at his stats in terms of what he did, the number of fights won, the number of championships won, blah, 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 even his style, he isn't. There are plenty more boxers out there that have probably beaten his statistics. They could probably have beaten him if they were able to fight one-to-one. But he's the greatest. We all know him as that. How do we know? Because he told us. He told us that he was the greatest, probably before even anybody saw him fight. It was the state he got into, and he decided that that's who he was. Who am I going to be that would be the greatest? And then he set a direction. Be the greatest. It's quite simple. It's connected. It's the same thing. What do I need to be the greatest? And what direction do I need to go in if I want to be the greatest? And from there, decision-making becomes quite simple. All he has to do is take actions that take him in the right direction. Oh, it's cold and wet and miserable outside. I really don't want to go training. What would the greatest do? Get out and go and do something. I can take a load of easy fights, get some money, thank you very much. But what would the greatest do? Well, he would go for the hardest fight, the toughest fight, and make sure he's trained best for it. So it has a totally different attitude, and it's irrespective of what he's actually achieved. He's gone on to achieve great things, and he's known as the greatest, but that's almost like a consequence of who he is, what he did, and how he did to get there. So when you look at people who are generally at the top of the game, certainly in sports, certainly in business, it's a different process. They play the game differently. Just like Frank was saying earlier on, you've got to do things in a different direction. So first off, it's setting a direction. Instead of having a goal, I think you've got to have we want this graph actually going up beyond it. It might grow on you one, but anyway, but a general direction that you go in. In that, you can have projects, you can have plans, you can certainly have benchmarks, but you're not attached to the individual thing. In fact, the best thing is to set a target you can't achieve. And no, you're not going to achieve it. I mean, what does the greatest even mean? I mean, it's such a bland thing. But, you know, it's always going to be beatable, but it's just a direction to go in. Let me give you an example. 10 years ago or so, my wife and I were watching telly. It was a Thursday evening. It was the local news. And I'm based around Yorkshire, just for those who want to know. And it came on the news that, the Northern Lights are possible to see as down as far as they are in Yorkshire. It's a clear night, and the Aurora Borealis is coming way down south. You're going to be able to see it. And it's like, it's a school night, but come on, let's give it a go. Yay. So we just jumped in the car and headed on the motorway. Now, there's a couple of bits on the M62 that goes across the country, which is right next to, where it opens up and you can just see everything. One near Halifax, one near towards Hull, and it's a beautiful panorama. It's like, we could go there, but will that work? I don't know. And then we thought, hang on, let's be sensible about this. Let's just drive north. Literally, we've got a direction. Just keep going north, and we're never going to hit the North Pole. We're never going to get to Scotland, but we just keep going until it works. So we have a direction to go in. It actually was quite fun doing it along the way, because we were just going in the right direction all the time. And we just kept going until it felt right. And then we pulled over, found a dark space, managed to watch the lights dropping down over Thirsk, I think it was, just by following a direction. Another example, I've got 7 or 8 books at the moment now. None of them had a deadline. None of them had a goal, unless I did it for somebody else. I was collaborating with somebody else's. It was, I want to write the book. What do I need to do to write the book? Well, I know the stuff. They're all business books. It's stuff that I want to do. So I've got an idea what it is. And then I just take action. The book will come because I want to do it, because I know the stuff and I'm going in the direction. So consistent action in direction produced the result that I wanted to produce. Now, let's have a think about this again. Beforehand, I said with goals, you're a failure every day until you actually succeed it. If you set a direction and every day you do something that takes you in that direction, guess what? You've succeeded today. And so, you know, let's if say you want to be healthy. What if tomorrow my action is tomorrow I'm going to eat a meal that is at least as healthy as the one I had today. That's it. That's all I need to do. Then tomorrow I'm successful. Tomorrow I'm successful. Every day you can be successful. And you're not making a massive shift. You're taking tiny incremental steps. So it's not as a huge shift as just wiping out all carbs or whatever it might be. So you can be successful every single day and actually enjoy the route as you go along. So Jill wanted some time left at the end. I don't know how much more she wants me to nabble on about, but that's the basic concept I want to get across to you. Goals, they create pressure, they create stress. Yes, they get results within the short term, but they are not a long-term solution. What you want to be thinking about is, what is the direction that you want to go in? Who do you need to be that person? And then what are just actions, simple actions that you can take every single day that will just keep you moving on that path, and that will take you forward. Then you can start getting results and you can enjoy the journey at the same time.